Hello and welcome to IRL FP here in round 8 for Azerbaijan. Today, of course, the Baku city circuit, 6 kilometers, spanning across 20 corners today, with realistically the best overtaking spots going down towards turn 1 and into turn 3 as well after the 2 DRS zones that are on this track. Just looking at people who are on laps, I can see Matthew is on a lap there, Lewis Curtis is also on a lap. I don't think there's anyone else too much further ahead on track. I think maybe Lee's, yeah. So it looks like Lee's going to be the first one, and actually we're going to go on board with him right as he makes a mistake. As you can see, going through the castle section, as you can see how tight it is as well. He's just trying to make his way out of it, and he's, oh, that's not nice. Trying to, after the mistake that he made trying to get out of it, and he's crashed. As Matthew Older setting a purple sector 2, but no one's actually set a lap yet, so it's kind of expected. Is Tim further ahead? Tim is further ahead. We'll go on board with Tim Brustalens then. I think he is going to be the first one to set a lap, as the Ferrari ahead I think is on an out lap, or maybe actually making his way back into the pit lane. So opening up the DRS for Tim Brustalens. He took pole position here actually only a few days ago in F2 that was, and he's taken provisional pole of course today, but that is the very first lap that's been set on the softs as well, so that'll be the time that people want to beat Lewis Curtis on the mediums of 40.5, so of course a little bit off the pace, but also the car contributes to that. Dale Kelleher also on the mediums, 41.6 for him, and Erminator sets to 39.9, so about 6/10 separates himself from Tim Brustalens. Matthew Older there, a 40.6 in the Alfa Romeo, just ahead of Dale Kelleher. As now Matt in the other Red Bull is going to be looking to see if he can be competitive, if he can be close to the time that was set by Tim Brustalens. Time Razim goes second, and Matt goes fourth. Both of those times set on the softs, 40.3 for Matt, a 39.8 for Time Razim, just ahead of Ermin there, who's actually retired. And it seems that he's retired just out of turn 3. So I'm just trying to get a link to the stream. It's not showing up right now. Just a little bit annoying. That's the tweet. So I'll just see who else is on a lap then. As it looks like Ross Denham is, as is Dylan Day. Dylan Day is further ahead on track. So is Rocco. I'm not sure if he's on. No, he's not. And neither is Paco Suarez there. So we'll be on board with Dylan Day then, who might end up in this traffic. I'm not sure. He's a little bit close to it, but out of the final corner they should speed up now. As of course Dylan Day is going to be finishing up his lap in the McLaren right now, so I would assume it's roughly the third best car, as it usually is. Opening up the DRS of course, going towards the line, and he's going to go 5th with a 40.4 on the softs. As yeah, McLaren is actually his third quickest car. Now it's Paco Suarez who's going to be on his lap. He's got some people behind him as Ross Denham just finishes up his lap. He's 8th with a 41.4 as purple sector 1 for Paco Suarez, which is interesting. The Ferrari not particularly quick, it's the 5th quickest car, so very much as midfield as it gets. So once he's... oh, and he's actually hit the wall and he's spun out of the castle section. And that's not going to be a very good lap at all if he decides to complete it. And most likely he will be making his way back to the pit lane. This is a Red Bull ahead. I think that may be Tim. It is going to be Tim, as no one else is currently on a lap because Ross and Dylan just finished up theirs. So opening up the DRS flap for Tim Brusselens, as of course he's going to go across the line and start the second lap of the day for himself. As through turn 1, of course, nice and smooth. And then turn 2, you want to just be as close to the curb as possible without touching it, because if you skip over it, it can unsettle your car and you can lose a little bit of time, but he does it quite nicely there, as of course DRS open for the second straight. Going into turn 3, second best realistically overtaking opportunity on the track. This just clips the inside curb of turn 4 there, but continues on. As purple in sector 1, don't particularly doubt that either, as of course he's going to be approaching the castle section, so for his sake hopefully he's able to go through and continue on with his lap. As it looks like there's some sort of spark coming out of that wall, probably from when someone else hit it. As he's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. I think one of them's a Red Bull. The Red Bull will most likely have to get out of the way unless he ends up giving him a bit of slipstream, which I don't think Tim would mind all too much. And there you go, a further improvement for the German, and it's 39.1 that he's improved to. Now that puts him about 7/10 clear of Time Razim in second. You can see a bit of a spark there. Let's see if... yeah, we'll go on board with Tim just for a second. We'll be going a little bit slower as well, just on the right side. Yeah. Very weird. Anyway, though, we are now on board with Lewis Curtis, who's finishing up a lap, and he's actually going to go provisional pole position in the AlphaTauri. Very good lap from Lewis there, as that's in the 4th quickest car as well, so very on merit there for him to get a provisional pole. Matthew Walder, it looks like just improved. He's on a 39.6 in 4th place now. Looks like Tim probably can improve quite a bit in that case. Or I'd be expecting him to be able to improve anyway. As Dylan Day, it's looking like... or no, actually. I think that was Rocco Walsh. It was Rocco Walsh just going across the line. I don't think he improved, or actually no, yeah, he would have. Up to 8th then for Rocco, 40.4. And someone else on a 40.4 is Dylan Day. He'll be looking for an improvement though as he goes through the castle section. Looks like he's taking it fairly slowly, as maybe he's not actually on lap, as he has a full battery. Of course he's not on lap. Seems like he's saving to go for a consecutive lap though. As I just see Matthew Roller, I think is in lap anyway. Tamer Azim, and then Lewis Curtis also going in, or on his way in. Yeah, as you can see, Matthew now's run out of fuel as well. I think, well, I don't think, maybe Tamer Azim hasn't, but he's still going a little bit slow. And as I was in F2, I will be checking to make sure people aren't crossing over that line on the entry as well, because it's not allowed and people think they can get away with it. Stream catches them, they're just as guilty. So you pretty much no one out on track right now. Three minutes left, so I would be thinking there's going to be a surge of cars going out of the pit lane about now, as Ross Denham is making his way out. Paco Suarez has no wing, so it seems like his second lap maybe didn't go well, because I'm sure he got back to the pit lane. There's still pretty much no one getting out. There's Timber Salins who's on an out lap, so he'll be the next one to set a lap. He's just preparing as he approaches turn 16, and that's when he's going to bolt, because the run you get out of turn 16 affects your speed pretty much all the way down to the first corner, because it's all flat out from here, and that's very much what he's going to be doing, flat out, as he goes through the left and right handers of 18 and 19, and then the little kink of turn 20 as he approaches the DRS zone, opens up DRS, and he's going to be crossing over the line to start his final lap. He's going to be looking for a pole position. He's also going to be looking for a win here today as well, because he hasn't got one yet, and I think he's one of the ones who you'd really be thinking that should have got one by now, and probably could have got one by now, but just hasn't worked out for him yet. As of course opening up DRS once again as he exits turn 2 and approaches turn 3. I think that might be it's Paco Suarez of in the Ferrari. He's a little bit ahead. He's going to get out of the way, luckily out, as Tim Mercedes continues on his way. As turns 5 and turn 6, you want to set yourself up at 5 to really get a nice exit out of 6 to just help you run down this little straight. And then of course turn 7, that's you can cut a little bit, the game kind of allows it, but then sometimes you get unlucky and you cut it that little bit too much, which especially in qualifying isn't nice. The race, I think, allows it a little bit more, is a little bit more lenient. Does someone come off at the end, or are they just slowing down? They're gonna have to get out of the way of Timber Salins here. As out of the way, that's Tamer Azim on the left hand side, just preparing for his lap. So Timber Salins out of the final corner now. I don't think he went purple in sector 2. I'm fairly sure it was purple sector 1. As of course we'll see how much quicker he can go as he goes through turn 20 and opens up the DRS. So what can Timber Salins do then? He's looking for a pole position. He's going to cross over the line, and he is going to take provisional pole position. A 38.7 goes about 3.5 tenths quicker Then Lewis Curtis, who's also on a lap of his own, as I'll just try and find, I think it's Ross Denham next. Ross Denham is next, as he's coming out of the final corner. He's, according to the game, purple in Sector 2, so I guess we'll see how legitimate that is, as through turns 18 and turns 19, and then the flat out turns 20 as well, all three corners. Flat out as he approaches the line, and he's going to open up the DRS as well. And across the line for Ross Denham, currently 10th, and he's going to go 9th with a 40.6, almost a second behind Tim Verstappen, so just couldn't make it work in the end. As the next one to cross the line is going to be Matt. As Lewis retires from the session, so he's not going to be improving on his lap, and it looks like he's actually crashed in the castle section, as I'll just get a view, as there you go, he has crashed in the castle section. As we continue on with, I can't remember who it was Matt there, who's going to cross over the line. He's in the Red Bull, as is Tim, so can he challenge? And no, he can't. He's going to remain P6, as there's another AlphaTauri going around. That's Timer Azim in third place. He's going to be looking for an improvement. There's actually an Alfa Romeo ahead of him as Matthew Alder finishes up. He's definitely going to be fourth, unless Dylan Day can improve in his lap, and Paco Suarez as well. They're still yet to set laps behind. As Timer Azim's going to be looking for an improvement. He's going to open up the DRS and approaching the line now, currently on a 39.2. He's actually going to go into the pit lane and not improve on his lap. So Dylan Day would be next. He's going slowly though, so that's not going to be an improvement. Paco Suarez is going to take the 11th, and he slows down at the end. He's going to take the fresh tyres and the free tyre choice as well. So that means Tim Verstappen is going to take pole position here today. So we just wait for Dylan's car to get into the pit lane, and I'm going to take this opportunity to get water. And there we have it then. Tim Verstappen, of course, taking pole position ahead of Lewis Curtis. 3.5 tenths separate them. Timer Azim takes third place. Matthew Alder in fourth. Ehrman in fifth. Matt in sixth. And Day in seventh. Rocco Walsh takes eighth. Ross Denham in ninth. And Dale Kelleher rounds out the top 10. Then it was Paco Suarez who slowed down at the end to just guarantee himself the 11th place, which is fair enough. And then Tom Sciver in 12th and Lee Kelly in 13th, both of them not ending up with a time, but certainly putting themselves in a good position in terms of the free tyre choice, which may be what they were looking for actually. So I'll just quickly check the comments as we load in. Oh, nice, Tim, then. Just over 2 tenths quicker than your F2 time, so shows you it shows you got the lap together then. Although maybe the realistic performance might have a say in it as well. I'm not sure. I would think that the top cars in realistic is the same as an equal car, but yeah, nice going, Tim. And if you're still here, then I guess good luck for the race, starting on pole. As we speak about him, Tim Verstappen is going to lead the grid away, and then Lewis Curtis in second, Timer in third. Looks like Matthew Alder started a little bit early there, as he's letting people back through now. As I just get all the information up on the screen. So, as expected, the people outside of the top 10 on mediums and inside of the top 10 on softs. And the predicted is a 2-stop, but it's very much a 1-stop, soft, hard. Goes to the end fairly simply. Although if there's safety cars, pretty much everyone will be pitting off those hards. So I'm just thinking, actually, I think Matthew could take the championship today. 112.51. So he's a 61-point gap. And you can get A4, so yeah, he can actually. If he were to win, he does very specifically have to win. A second place with fastest lap and pole position won't do it. But yeah, if he were to win, he extends his advantage over the 84 points that he needs it to be. And he will take the championship today, so that's something to look out for. That's a little bit of a mix-up there, but we have 5 red lights here in Azerbaijan, and it's lights out, and away we go. Looks like Tim has got away well going in towards turn 1, as he's actually pressured a little bit by the 2 behind. This is Matthew Walder going up the inside of Lewis Curtis. Matthew Walder making up 2 places on the Alpha Tauris there already, as he's side by side with Lewis Curtis. I think the engine of Lewis Curtis is going to come out on top here, though, as he's going to have to settle for P3 at the moment unless he dives in, but I don't think he's going to be. Matthew's more sensible than that, as he's going to stick behind in 3rd at the moment. So Timber Sain's going to lead them away, and I think he's going to be doing a lot more of that for the rest of this race, especially if Matthew Walder is going to keep pressuring Lewis as much as he is. He's still right at the back of him, very much so, as they go through turns 5 and turn 6. Matthew Walder trying to get a better line, a bit of a switchback line almost, going down towards this right-hander here, as he's still trying, but Lewis Curtis, of course, covering him off the streets here. Very difficult to make an overtake, as has someone made a mistake in the background. It was yellow flags, as Rocco Walsh, it looks like, was involved in that. Probably Matt as well, as he's looking a little bit off the pack. As is there damage on that Alfa Romeo? There is not. And Matt, it looks like, didn't lose out too much time if he was involved in it. And I can't really tell if there's damage there. There isn't. So no damage for anyone there, but looks like there was an incident, as 1.4 seconds now Lewis Curtis and Tim Busalin separate themselves by, as right at the back of Lewis Curtis Matthew Walder is, and he's going to be using ERS. He's going to be in the slipstream. That's all he's going to get at the moment, is side by side once again between these two, as Matthew Walder is still not giving up, as actually into the pit lane goes Lewis Curtis. Very early stop, and it's going to allow Matthew to go through, and everyone else is going to go through. Timer will inherit a podium position. What is this for? He's got his wing. Or does he? Maybe he had very minimal damage that he had to get rid of. As he's going to be out of the pit lane now, as Dale Kelleher just retired in the pit lane. That's interesting. Wouldn't know why you'd retire on the very first lap, but... And off he goes, I guess. Maybe something came up very suddenly, but... No. It's Lewis Curtis now in 12th after his pit stop, and he pitted because he had a little bit of damage. So that's why he did get the wing change, so he definitely had some sort of damage. It wasn't visual, at least to the stream, but it was there. And the next person, or the next few actually, in line, Rocco Walsh is outside of the points. Lewis Curtis also outside of the points. Lewis Millam, I'm not sure if he's actually here at all. He isn't. And then it's Lee Kelly in 5th, who is currently running P6. So Matthew's closest competition in terms of the championship is Lee Kelly in 6th place, who is 5th in the championship because Rocco... or actually no, it's Ollie Flavel who's 2nd. I don't know why I was thinking it was Lewis. So Ollie Flavel isn't actually here, so that makes it even easier for Matthew in terms of the championship to really get a very big step closer to his championship in FP, that he is of course defending. One thing's for sure, I think if Matthew continues like this, he'll probably only need like a top 5 to secure it. That will be next week anyway, if you were to take a podium today. And it looks like he's on course too, because he's gapped Timer Azimus. We'll just check. He has gapped him by over a second, so Timer won't be gaining anything from DRS. But someone behind him, of course, Ehrman is going to be within the DRS range. So if Timer and Ehrman were to fight a little bit as well, it would only help Matthew Walder and his cause for the championship. As Paco Suarez looks close enough, at least he's within the DRS of Lee Kelly. Doesn't look like he's quite close enough to make a move yet, as actually Ehrman into the pits, as is Dylan Day as well in the McLaren, and that is for a wing change. I think it is for a wing change. What's it for Dylan? It's another wing change for Dylan as well, both of them getting wing changes, as Lewis Curtis of course is going to go through and back into the points. I was actually now down the inside of Tom Segiver from Matt here. Is a little bit of a touch there, but he made it work on the inside, outbraked him nicely, and he's up into P6. Of course, Tom Segiver now down to 7th. That's Red Bull versus Ferrari. The difference in engines quite significant, so not too much of a difficulty. Is now Paco Suarez, it looks like, defending from Lee, who seemingly was trying to make a move. It's Matthew Walder. Does he still have his wing is the big question, as he's got out of the... Oh no, and he spun again. I think that one was because of ghosting though. As Lewis Curtis is about to go through him on him in a second as well. Down to 9th, so a mistake in the castle section really... really not good for Matthew's race, especially for the championship. Lee Kelly now taking a P3. Of course, Paco Suarez is going to take 4th and continue to follow behind Lee Kelly. Or actually, no, Lee would have made a move then, just now on Paco then, in that case. As into the pits for Tim Busalens. A routine stop on lap 5 it looks like, and onto the mediums interestingly. A safety car right after as well. How lucky can Tim be? That's very nice for Tim to get a safety car right as he pit. Of course, I think the top guys will end up using this opportunity as well. Maybe not the medium runners, but certainly Time Regime will pit, which means Tim will be up to 4th. As a safety car, still waiting for the leader, of course, but the leader, or at least the current leader, is going to be going into the pit lane, and I think it's a very welcome stop as into the pit lane. All goes to the left of the line, as you're meant to do. Perfectly okay, and now he's going to be making his pit stop, of course. And in terms of where Tim is, Tim should still be ahead of him. Because Tim did get a little bit of an advantage from the safety car as well on the other, the kind of second phase of his pit stop was under safety car anyway, and he is going to pull ahead of Timer there as Paco and Lee stay out. But if you're on the mediums right now, you're not going to be going to the end, so I think it puts Lee and Paco in a very welcome position, to be honest. The mediums are only 5 laps older, and they're going for another pit stop, as is pretty much everyone else, unless they want to risk a puncture. That's Matt and Erminator. It seems got a little bit too close. 5 seconds for both. A drive-through for Dylan Day that he's not going to be able to serve until after the safety car. So really not good for him as Lee Kelly continues to lead. Of course, he's going to be the one who decides when everyone goes, pretty much. Sorry, Matt, but I did catch that. As no one else went into the pit lane. I'll just take note of it. people are going to keep not reading the rules as... Oh, no. Now it's Lewis and Matthew who's got the 5-second penalty. Yep, both of them have 5-second bans now. And it's funny as well, because Matt pit to get rid of a 5-second, but he got a 5-second by entering the pit lane in the way he did. So basically negates anything that he was trying to gain from getting rid of the penalty. As he catches up to the back of the train now. As a safety car should get called in now as they cross over the line, and there you go, safety car is in. Erminator is actually just getting back. It seems like he's lagged out, so he's going to get back in and hopefully he gets control of his car before the safety car comes in and Lee goes. As we'll just go with Lee here. So we'll see if he slows it down. I don't think he is going to be slowing it down all too much. He's just keeping a fairly steady pace of 150 kilometers an hour. As he continues to weave away and warm up his tires, he can do this all the way down to the start-finish line. And he's continuing to do it. He's really bringing it right to the line. And now he's gone, as it will get on board with Paco Suarez, who's behind him. Didn't quite get close enough, as you can see down the inside here for Dylan Day, and he's trying to make that move on Lewis Curtis. Didn't quite work out, and now Rocco Walsh is going to go right around the outside, or try to anyway. He's now diving it down the inside again. Dylan Day trying to make something work, didn't quite make it work, hops over the curb, and I mentioned it in quali earlier as well, that if you hop over that curb it can unsettle your car a bit, and that's exactly what happened to Dylan Day, and it's exactly why he lost out there. As behind there, Matt, it looks like, just outbraked himself and went into the back of Dylan Day. He didn't get damaged, luckily, no penalty either, but just not braking early enough, it seems. As now Lee Kelly has gapped the fields by over a second, so he's not going to have to worry about Paco Suarez getting DRS now, as Timber Salins is going to be trying at a move down into towards turn 1, and Paco Suarez being a little bit further away from Lee, not benefiting as much as he could from slipstream, will be something Tim will be liking the concept of as well, as he tries to close up here, going through turn 15 and approaching turn 16, which is the last corner you have to brake for on this track. As out of the final corner now, and of course using ERS, going through the flat left and right hander. He's closing on the back of the Ferrari. Of course, this is mostly the Honda engine doing this, and he's going to pull alongside, and I think he's going to get ahead well before the corner as he opens up. Well, actually no DRS, I should say, just continues to use a little bit more ERS, and he's going to lead ahead of Paco Suarez. And now the leader, Lee Kelly, is his next target, and he's already within a second there after that overtake. As what has happened to Lewis here, looks like Lewis has been spun around by someone, I'm not sure. As you can see, Timber Satan's really trying to close up, gets so close under the braking there, just about doesn't touch with the rear of Lee Kelly. As he continues to follow through, it's going to be a little difficult to follow that this closely going through the castle section. You can see he did have to put a little bit of distance to make sure he got through okay. And now, of course, going through the flat turns 13 and 14, he's going to have to continue to just follow behind, but you can see that Red Bull getting ever closer, and you can tell the difference in pace that Timber Salins has, as he's even looking down the inside of turn 16 almost, as we exit turn 16 here, as of course Tim Mercedes is going to be looking for a move on the Irishman, who's only actually led for a lap, well, it would be 2 laps at the end of this lap, as Tim Mercedes now looking on the outside of Lee Kelly, and he's going to pull ahead of Lee Kelly as well. You can see the overspeed that he had from the slipstream and the ERS that he used, and no more ERS actually being used as a fastest lap from Tim Mercedes as well. And he goes through for the lead of this race. Paco Suarez now has been brought back into the fight with Lee Kelly, so he might be able to look at a move as what's this? This is a few people pitting actually, as Matt gets a new wing, as Matthew Walder is going to be staying out. He's going to be getting back into the points, which isn't too bad, as people's pit stops seeming to take quite a while, as Matthew Walder goes through on all 3 of them. Timer Azim also, in a way, getting brought back into this fight for the podium places, as he's within DRS range. Tim now has gapped Lee Kelly by almost 2 seconds in the 1 lap that he's been ahead of him, so you can see the pace difference there, as now Paco Suarez trying to close up to Lee Kelly here. And it looks like he does have a little bit of overspeed as he's closing in, and he's going to open up the DRS flap as well. He may well be looking down the inside of turn 1 if he gets close enough, as he's actually lifted off there. So it looks like he didn't actually want to make a move going into turn 1. He just wanted to close up and maybe stay behind, maybe save a little bit of ERS, as Lee's certainly been saving ERS. It's now Thomas McIver and Ehrman going at it for 5th place. Thomas McIver comes out on top, but actually we get a perfect view from Ehrman's car of a spin that happened very suddenly from Thomas McIver after making a move on Ehrman. And now, of course, he's back behind Ehrman and some 8 seconds off. So he's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to close back up, as Tim Mercedes now almost gapped Lee by 3 seconds, which means if he got a penalty, it wouldn't actually matter, as Lewis Curtis gets a 3-second penalty, speaking of penalties. As Paco Suarez making his way through the castle section, losing a bit of time to Lee Kelly. He's actually lost that much through the castle section that now he's out of the DRS range, which won't help him out because now Timer Azim is just behind him. And of course he'll have DRS unless Paco Suarez can close back up to Lee just a little bit extra, and it looks like he's working on that anyway, as certainly using a bit of ERS to try and get this TRS back, because he knows that if Timer Azim gets in the slipstream in DRS, he's got pretty much no chances. He's already closing. As he's using ERS, he's going to be looking to the inside probably. He's going to be opening up that DRS flap. You can see Lee Kelly makes his way into the pit lane, and on the inside, Timer Azim and Paco Suarez drops to P3. Ehrman gets ahead of Lee as well to 4th, as Thomas McIver stays out. As you can see, a little bit of a fight here as well for what is currently 8th place, as Rocco Walsh is going to be closing on Matthew Walder. He may well actually look at a move, as he's looking on the right hand side, I should say. This is mediums versus mediums, but of course Rocco's are slightly fresher, and he's going to go around the outside and get that move done. Yellow flags in sector 1 is going to prevent a move from Matthew Walder momentarily, as he's going to be using the DRS. There's Lee Kelly just ahead of him as well, who's just come out on hards. It's down the inside for Matthew Walder, and he's going to be able to make up another place, as he looks a little bit down the inside of Lee Kelly, who went a little bit slowly by the end of that straight, but just about had enough speed to stay ahead. As you can see, Matt in the background here as well, looking at getting involved, as Matthew Older seems to have more pace than Lee right now. He's going to look at a switch back here, as Lee Kelly almost getting caught out. Didn't quite have the best exit out of turn 6. Is now through turn 7. Lee Kelly is just about going to hang on, but I don't think he's going to be hanging on for all that much longer, as I guess we'll see in a few moments, as Paco Suarez now on the back of Timer Azim. He's going to be using some ERS as well as they go down the very long straight, as he's going to be able to open up DRS. He's used quite a bit of ERS to try and close up as it is, as Ehrman some 2 seconds back, so he's not going to be getting involved in this fight, or at least not for a few laps if he was going to go on some good pace as he is in the Mercedes. Oh my word! It's Timer Azim. Paco Suarez just about avoids him. Timer Azim crashes out, and it's a full safety car, and rightfully so. As we'll just go on board with Thomas the Guyver, you'll see him on the right hand side, as he's very much crashed, as Thomas the Guyver almost doesn't see him there. You can see him in the wall. He just spun out of turn 1, as of course he was running just ahead of Paco Suarez. Paco Suarez won't be too upset. Of course, safety car, he'll be able to pit now and go into hards to the end of the race, and of course he gets to do it under safety car from second, so he won't lose as much as he would have, as Timer Azim leaves the session, of course, after crashing out, unfortunately. I think Erminator is going to have to use this opportunity to pit as well, as Thomas the Guyver certainly, who's on the softs at the moment. Really, most people should be pitting for this, to be honest, as it seems like Matthew Older wants Lee to hurry up a little bit. Oh, okay. Well, Matthew really wants Lee to hurry up, as he actually pulled ahead of him, as, well, I don't know what Lee's doing, but he's going very slowly. As Matthew has to let him back through again. As into the pit lane for Timber Stalins, into the pit lane for Paco Suarez and for Erminator. We'll see Thomas the Guyver surely making his way into the pit lane as well in a few moments. Well, I mean, he should make his way into the pit lane. And, well, he's meant to be left as a line, he wasn't. As Lee Kelly is going to be staying out, of course he was already on his hards. And Matthew Waller on fresh mediums, he's not going to take an opportunity to pit, and neither is Rocco Walsh, neither is... Okay, well, no, Matt is crossing over the line again, and he's going to get another 5-second penalty. Oh my god. People just don't get it, do they? Then they'll tell you that they took it right when they didn't. It's just... So now everyone's going to catch back up to the safety car. Don't know why Lewis didn't take an opportunity to pit there. Get a fresh set of tyres on. As of course he was running last anyway, he wouldn't have... I mean, he did not gain any places by staying out. He may as well gain a little bit by being on fresh tyres, I would think, but obviously he doesn't think so. Maybe he doesn't have the fresh tyres to use at the moment. As fresh softs on for Paco Suarez, which is an interesting choice. Of course, he started the Grand Prix on mediums. I would have thought hards to the end would be the strategy, but He's put on softs. Maybe he's going to go back into the pit lane for mediums? As he is going to go back into the pit lane for mediums. Fair enough. I mean, softs won't make it to the end, so it's the right choice. Interestingly, Dylan Day didn't take an opportunity to pit, favouring track position, but he's going to have to pit soon now because these tyres won't, or at least surely they won't, go to the end. Not in a good condition. 9 laps old. They'll end up being like 20 laps old by the end of the race. Really cutting it close. Unless he plans to pit later, but safety car would be the obvious choice to pit under. The safety car is in, and Tim Brusalens, of course, is going to lead them away on his mediums, and mediums that will be able to go to the end as well. So it's a straight fight now. As of course, Dylan Day, I don't think will be able to be fighting with Thomas McGyver very much on the restart, given those old tyres. As long as Thomas McGyver catches him out a little bit, he'll be able to lead into turn 1 and pull away. As Tim just slowing it down now. It's up to him when he wants to go. He can take it to the line if he wants. As now he has gone, and it has caught out Dylan Day a little bit, as Erminator is going to have to pull into the slipstream. Everyone just slipstreaming down towards turn 1. Lee Kelly is getting slipstreamed by Matthew Holder. Matthew Holder is quite close. He might look at a move. He's going to think better of it and stick behind us down the inside. Matt on Lewis Curtis. Lewis Curtis isn't having any of it though, and he's going to try and hang her on the outside. Still side by side between these two, as Lewis Curtis is going to hang around the outside of turn 2 and get the place. And Paco Suarez, an opportunistic move from the Spaniard, as he's going to be side by side now with Matt, and side by side going into turn 3 they'll be, as Paco has the outside line and he'll have the inside line for the next corner, probably the preferred line to have, as he's going to just outbrake him and very nicely go up to 9th place. A very opportunistic move, and he's made it work as they all funnel through turns 5 and 6. Tim Brusalens leading away, 1.1 seconds clear of Dylan Day, as I kind of expected, as Erminator is going to be trying to close up to Dylan Day to make that pass. Terminator 7/10 off Dylan Day, but surely he'll be able to close up, or I think he would be able to. With the Mercedes car on the straight, it's factually better than McLaren because they have the same engine, but the Mercedes car is quicker, so we'll have a little bit less drag going down the straight, as 1 second separates them, and 1 second is going to continue to separate them down towards turn 1, as actually maybe Lee Kelly's going to be closing up. Of course, he also has the Merc engine, behind him as everyone's closing up a little bit here. Is Thomas the Guyver looking at a move on Rocco Walsh? There's yellow flags in Sector 1 though, and I think he made that move under yellow flags. He's going to have to give that position back. I don't think he realised he made it under yellow flags though, as now that's Lewis Curtis going through on Rocco Walsh for a legitimate move. Who's that now? Paco Suarez. And there's been a crash as well. Paco Suarez looked down the inside. There's a full safety car naturally with the debris on the track. No wing for Paco Suarez. He outbraked himself, I think. I don't think he was necessarily trying to go for a move of any kind. Lewis Curtis now is out of the Grand Prix. Rocco Walsh didn't get any damage from it, luckily. Thomas MacGyver was looking at a move. He actually just made a move under yellow flags, or at least I think it was yellow flags anyway. Up to Rocco if he wants to report that or not. As then it's Matthew Walder in 5th, who's still just following behind Lee Kelly. And surely now Dylan is going to take an opportunity to pit because he has to. He can't keep putting this off. As Dylan isn't going to pit, neither is he, and Lee has. Oh, that's not allowed. I'll take note of it anyway. Paco Suarez goes in. That's how you're meant to go in, left of the line. If it's on the left, you go in left of the line. You don't cross over it or anything. So now Matthew Waller's going to be promoted into the podium places. People opting for softs now. Dylan still didn't. Oh my god. It's only backwards from here. The only way he can go is backwards. Obviously, he's confident in his strategy, but I doubt him. Top 3, of course, all on mediums. And then after that, everyone is on the soft tires. And Tim does get the soft tires on, of course. In F2, he ended up with mediums. He picked softs, but it didn't change over. And the game gave him mediums again. This time in FP, he's got the tires he wanted, which are, of course, softs, and he'll be able to go to the end. So, wouldn't actually... I kind of think he's going to be the one to take the win, honestly. Because Thomas Garver's softs are already quite used as it is. So Tim should be able to make a move on him, especially with the Ferrari engine. 9-lap-old mediums versus Tim's Honda engine. Matthew's Ferrari engine, he should be able to pass him. Erminator hasn't seemed to be on the pace as much as maybe he would have liked to. And, well, Dylan Dace on 13-lap-old mediums, and they're only getting older. So as long, well, I mean, it's considering that people behind don't get a move on Tim, and Tim doesn't make mistakes on his own, but, yeah, I'd be confident in saying Tim could win this. I mean, it's been a long time coming as well. He hasn't got a win in F2, and he hasn't got a win in FP, and he's got plenty of chances to win in FP and plenty of chances to win in F2 as well, so I think he's kind of owed a win at some point in whichever tier it is. And I think maybe today could be the day that he'll get it finally. As you think 8 rounds is a whole 8 weeks that he's been waiting for a win. And in F2, of course, he's second in the championship. I think the gap is like 5 points between himself and Ross. He hasn't taken a win, but he's certainly taken podiums and put himself in winning positions. Just didn't work out for him. And here in FP, of course, he's got the right cars behind him, but he just hasn't been able to make it work, whether it be by safety cars or incidents or whatever. But hopefully he can finally get it together today, and everything goes his way. Of course, there's 7 laps left to determine if that can happen today. A safety car is in, and it's going to be up to Dylan when he wants to go. And I think if I'm Dylan, probably would want to bring this pretty much to the finish line, or at least close to it, and try and catch people out at the end, because those mediums aren't going to do him any favours. It's just warming up his tires now, and now he's gone, and he has actually caught Ehrman out quite significantly here. That's Matthew Walder in the Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo, trying to follow along with the Mercedes. It's going to be a bit difficult as Lee Kelly is getting overtaken, as Tim Mercedes is already looking at moves. He's got past Thomas McGyver. He's looking at a move on Lee Kelly here, as there's a bit of rain, a spit of rain. Maybe that's why Dylan Day was staying out, actually. As now he's looking down the inside of Lee Kelly. He might have to back out of this. He looked down the inside and just wasn't able to make it work. As you can see, I think it really should have just not went for the move at all. As Thomas McGyver now down to 8th place after getting overtaken by Rocco Walsh there. As that's a bit of a tap of the wall from Tim there. Luckily doesn't lose out to Paco Suarez though. But Lee Kelly now putting himself in the driving seat. Of course, he got past Tim Mercedes at the start, and now his next target's going to be Matthew Walder on those mediums. And I don't think it's going to be the most difficult task to get past, and I think it just kind of gets easier as you go through. As Ehrman's actually lost the rear, as Lee Kelly's going to be able to go through just about side by side between the two. As Lee Kelly almost goes into the back. As, oh no, there's been an incident. Ehrman was struggling under traction, and he's really struggling under traction. You can see he's broken off his wing now. Lee Kelly's now down to 7th. Rocco Walsh is trying to slipstream Paco Suarez. It doesn't look like he's quite close enough, as Dylan Day's actually getting away from Matthew Walder. So maybe I shouldn't have doubted Dylan Day, but there's still 6 laps left, including this one that we have yet to go through, as it looks like it is getting quite slippery for the drivers. As around goes Paco Suarez at the exit of turn 1, as Lee Kelly might have an opportunity to get past, as a little bit too much of a gap there actually. As you can see, actually the rain's coming down fairly quickly here, as onto the inters for Erminator might end up being an inspired decision here. As of course he's currently 7th, we'll see just to make sure he's 33 seconds off the lead, and as he just gets out of the pit lane. So we'll just monitor that gap. As you can see, a lot of rain has come down now at this stage of the race, and pretty much everyone's gonna have to be in. So Dylan Day, I think, was waiting for this, and as he got damage is certainly not something that he needs right now. Especially going through this section, as he doesn't have damage, luckily for him, as Paco's, I keep saying Paco for some reason. Matthew Walder is just closing up a little bit more to the back of Dylan Day. Dylan Day's going to have to do some defending here, as it looks like Matthew Walder has a lot more grip, or at least he's handling the conditions a lot better, as of course through turn 15 they go, as Dylan Day hits the wall. Is that going to be damage? As of course they approach turn 16, they're really struggling now, as you can see the gap with Erminator coming down quite significantly, 35.4, so he's really closing up as Paco Suarez is out. Erminator is actually losing time now. It seems like he was involved in an incident with Paco there, as they're just crawling down this straight, as Erminator is going to very easily get past Lee Kelly anyway. I don't think he's going to get past very many other drivers, as we'll just see as Dylan Day, everyone going in as they're meant to as well, as Lee Kelly spinning up the rears and everything. Erminator's going to be able to go through, of course, as I said, on Lee Kelly, but I think it's going to end there, as now, of course, the pit stops are going to be crucial. On go the inters for Dylan Day, and he's going to get out of the pit lane. Of course, a double stack for Alfa Romeo, as even Matthew's going to get held for a second after he had to just wait for Dylan Day's car to go through. So now it's Matthew Alder versus Dylan Day, and don't forget as well, this is also in a way for the championship, because if Matthew Alder can take the win today, he'll get the 23 points that he needs to gap second by and take the win. Or, well, I don't think it's anything to do with that. I'll add it up. But I think that if Matthew Alder were to take the win, that would be it. I guess we're under safety car. I'll do some calculations quickly if I can. So yeah, Ollie's not here, Lewis isn't here, Lee is in 5th, and that's pretty much as far as it goes. So Matthew on 112. So just get this into my notes quickly. Oops. So Matthew is on 112, as I said. Then Rocco is on 50 points, and then Lee is on 43. So 27 points is the maximum you can get from a race weekend. Well, 28 actually is the maximum you can get. So then, Matthew, I mean, he has to take the win no matter what if he wants any chance of winning today. So 25, 35, so that's 37, 137 that he would be on. Then Rocco right now is gaining 12 points, which makes that 62. And then Lee is gaining 10, which makes that 53. So 137 minus 62. $75 points, which is not enough. So I'll just quickly then see. And okay, yeah, he's not going to get it today then. Rocco would need to score less than 3 points today, and he's going to be within the 50% rule. And 6th is 8 points, so Matthew cannot take it today, but he's going to get very, very close anyway. Especially if he were to take this win. So of course Matthew Alder just warming up his tires. Dylan Day is going to be holding up the grid as long as he likes. As looks like he's gone now as Matthew Alder didn't quite get the best restart, as he's going to be slipstreaming down towards turn 1 as Lee Kelly looking down the inside of Rocco Walsh. Was that too early? I'm not sure, as Matthew Alder goes a little bit wide. Tim Bruce-Salins is going to go through. Lee Kelly goes through on Matthew Alder as well, which is really not what he needs. Is Rocco Walsh also trying to make a move on the champion and the defending champion as well, I should say, as on the inside for Matthew Alder, side by side between himself and Matt in the Red Bull. It's going to be an outbreaking manoeuvre that he's going to be looking for, as side by side between the two, and I think Matthew Alder is going to be able to just about make that move stick, as Rocco Walsh looks for a move a little bit as well as they go into turn 4, but just not close enough, as Tim Bruce-Salins drops now down to 4th. It looked like he was making moves. I swear he was 2nd momentarily. Maybe he made a mistake just a second ago. As of course lap 24 out of 26, Lee Kelly is going to be looking for a win here, as he's won once already. As he's going to have to back out there. He is going to back out, but a little bit of a touch. Dylan Day just about goes through it well though. As no wing for Tim Bruce-Salins. And he's down to 5th place. Erminator is going to be able to go through as well. Another day that it's not going to come together for Tim. So unfortunate. As you can see, everyone locking up their fronts, trying to get their cars slowed down. As we go towards lap 25 out of 26, 2 laps left at the end of this lap. As you can see, Erminator now gets past Tim Bruce-Salins, whose best finish today is going to be the 8 points you get for 6th place, as Dylan Day now is going to be trying to hold off the advances of Lee Kelly and Matthew Alder as they approach turn 1, as I'm not getting a great camera angle for this unfortunately, as they're all just showing the onboard one. As they go through turn 1, of course Dylan Day really under threat here, as of course Lee Kelly looking for a move that will get him a win, his 2nd win of the season, and I'm not sure if anyone's actually got a repeat win this season. I don't think anyone has, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, no one has this season yet. So Lee Kelly could be the first to get a repeat win, but of course Dylan Day will be looking for his 1st win of the season in the McLaren, as of course they navigate out of turn 4, and then it's going to be turns 5 and 6, which is quite tricky. As you can see, Dylan Day really not responding to the conditions very well, as Lee Kelly clearly has a lot more grip. As through turn 7 now, Dylan Day continues to hold on, but how much longer can he hold on for? Because he's going to have to hold on for another lap and a half now, as Matthew Alder right at the back of Lee Kelly. He's also looking for what would be his 2nd win of the season as well. And of course Matthew Alder won in Belgium, Lee Kelly won back in Austria. So it's 2 race winners looking for their 2nd win versus someone looking for their 1st win of the season. As Dylan Day, you can see how much he's struggling on those inters. He did do a very good strategy to get himself in this position though, as out of turn 16 using ERS, a little bit of a slide there for Lee Kelly. as Dylan Day is going to go out, and I think he may just hang on to this. Of course, there's no DRS in activation for the drivers, as Dylan Day is going to be breaking the toe to the right. He's going to break the toe to the left as Lee Kelly still tries to stick with the slipstream, but he's just not going to be close enough at the moment, as he's actually going to look around the outside. He's going to find some space, as Dylan Day is going to squeeze him out on the exit. Now Matthew Walder is going to look on the inside. It's almost 3 wide in a way, as Matthew Walder on the inside of Dylan Day. Dylan is going to have a Mercedes engine, so it's going to be side by side going down towards turn 3, as Lee Kelly also hasn't given up. He's trying to get back involved in this as well, as Dylan Day is going to squeeze Matthew Walder to the left-hand side of the track, but just can't do it, as Matthew Walder pulls ahead and through into the lead of this race, as now Lee Kelly's looking for a move. He's looking on the outside of turn 4, side by side between the two, inside for turn 5. Not really sure which would be the better line, but he's going to outbrake him here, and he's going to go up into second place. Dylan Day now down to third, and it's actually going to be fourth now, as Rocco Walsh also goes through, as Matthew Walder, it looks like surely he's going to take the win now, as of course first and second both have taken a win, so we're going to see finally a repeat winner this season, unless there was a very sudden mistake from both Matthew and Lee to let Rocco through. Of course, Rocco hasn't taken a win yet this season. He's been fairly consistent. He's taken a few podiums, but yeah, Matthew's a good bit ahead now. 8-10 separates himself and Lee. And I think it's a little bit too late for Lee to think about a move. He's going to be using his ERS. Not exactly the best corner to be using ERS on, though, especially in the wet, as it can unsettle your car. But Matthew Walder now, as he approaches the start-finish straight, he approaches the start-finish line, as he's going to cross the line and take the second win of the season. The defending champion as well gets ever closer to that title that he's chasing as well, taking a second win of the season. If it was going to be anyone, I think it was going to be Matthew Walder to do it, and of course it was, as he takes the win. Lee Kelly has left. Of course he's left, which promotes Rocco to second, but it's not really. Lee is second, but he shouldn't be leaving, as now Timber Salins is just at the line, as he's just going to do some burnouts, I guess. It's across the line, and of course Dylan also gets a 20-second penalty because he left, but he shouldn't be. We did do an announcement not to be leaving like that. Lee Kelly gets driver of the day, which I guess is fair enough. As of course the top step for Matthew Walder, a very familiar position for the multiple time champion in IRL, takes the top spot. It's Lee Kelly who was actually in second, and then Rocco Walsh in third, as they spray the champagne. So there we have then Matthew Walder takes his second win of the season and becomes the second, or well, the first repeat winner of the season. Rocco Walsh was actually third, Lee Kelly in second, but because the game is bad, gave Lee the 20-second penalty. Dylan Day was fourth, and Tim took fifth, the 10 points that he gets for that. Erminator in sixth. He did crash out, but he was in the 90% rule. Paco Suarez, Thomas Guyver, Lewis, Matt, Time Razim, Ross Denham and Dale Keller all DNFing from today's race. Over half the grid that is DNFing today. So I'll just get it's Matthew, Lee and Rocco. Oh, different account. Never mind. That's my bad, actually. That's a mistake. Not sure if Matthew's going to be joining, though. Okay, there's Matthew. And there's Rocco. It doesn't look like Lee's going to be joining. So we'll start with you then, Matthew. Of course, you took the win, second win of the season, and you become the first person to get their second win of the season as well. And you also had to fight for it as well. Being in the slowest car didn't help. Being in the wet and having to tunnel around on the softs or mediums. I can't remember what you were on. I think you were in the mediums actually. But yeah, in the end, you took the win. So how was it for you?
Well, Cornley was pretty good. Out-qualified Rocco by a second and a tenth, even if he had slipstream. So yeah, that was pretty good quality, and I also qualified fourth, I believe. Good start. Jumped Uki, Azim, almost jumped Lewis, but he has the fastest car, so the fastest car in the straight. So yeah, I couldn't really pull ahead. Then I believe I pitted under safety car for mediums. I planned to go to the end, but obviously I didn't go to the end because I picked up damage under safety car from Lewis. I pitted, had a nice battle with Rocco for a bit. Then I believe I was another safety car, and I can't remember what happened then. So
yeah, I think the last one was Paco that caused it. It was an incident with Tim or something.
Yeah, it was raining. It really started raining really heavily. Like, it went from dries to wets really quickly. So I mean, within one lap we should have pitted, but none of us did because it was such a surprise for it to rain so fast. So it was really hard to keep the car under control. I had to brake miles early for every single corner, and obviously Paco didn't brake early enough because he crashed in the car. So of course the safety car prevented Eliminator from jumping any of us except Lee. Then under the safety car, Chaos was braking really early. I think he probably had damage because he hit the walls multiple times before the safety car. And yeah, then when I got past him before Lee, I knew it was probably going to be a win, because if you're not past Chaos, he's going to hold you up a lot, because I'm assuming he has damage. He was losing a lot of time in corners, so he had to brake really early. So
yeah, and I was just adding it up there. You're now 15 points away from guaranteeing your championship next week. So in Hungary, do you think you could take the podium and wrap it up? Or do you think maybe you'd be off the pace? In the slowest car again, of course.
Well, I mean, it depends on who's got the fastest car out of the people who are close to preventing it, probably, but I don't think I'll get a podium in Hungary. Hungary's a pretty poor track. I mean, unless we have like 13 or a really hectic race, then I probably won't get a podium.
Okay, well, congratulations on your second win of the season anyway, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And then Rocco Walsh, of course, in third, so because Lee got the 22nd pen from the game. Yeah, I didn't quite see as much as you, I think, because I was mainly focusing on the fight for the lead, but I did, I think, notice you in the odd battle or two, of course. And of course, in the end, you were very much in the running for the win. So I guess, how was it? Was there any battles to note apart from the last one? And of course, how was the transition to the rain?
I was lap one. I had a collision with Major, which put me at the back. And then, really, I was just surviving pretty much the whole race. I know after the first safety car, I was behind Terminator and Lewis, and we had a collision, and I got damage from it, so yeah, that wasn't good. Thankfully there was more safety cars. And then there was a really big incident in turn 3 with Paco and Lewis. I don't know if you saw it, but
yeah, did catch that, yeah.
It's a bit of a shambles. So that gave me 2 positions. Went on the softs, and a couple of people stayed out. And then when the rain came, I was saying it was raining very quick, because it doesn't really rain like that. And I just saw a couple of people spin, so I picked up positions. Safety car came out, and the worst part was I got held up in the pits, which I think would have put me P3 if it was, I don't know, if it was a quicker stop. Had a collision with Tim, which I'm sorry to him. I know he had damage, but I outbreak myself a bit. And then pretty much I was just surviving until the end, and I think did a nice switch back on Chaos. I know he had damage, but most people had damage. I just kept out the wall, so that was kind of the race, just surviving.
Yeah, and in the end, of course, coming away with the P3, so can't really complain, especially being in the slowest car. Next week in Hungary, you'll again be in the slowest car after 15 points. So, how do you think you could do around Hungary then?
I don't know, because Baku, I had a feeling I might do well because it's a very difficult track. I know Hungary's quite difficult, but it's not like a corner that will just, DNF you instantly like Castle section in Baku. So pretty much I've just got to get no pens. I mean, I don't think a high position is possible, but I think points will be definitely possible.
Okay, congratulations on the P3 then, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And that would be the end of the stream then. So that has been, of course, IRL FP here in Azerbaijan. And, of course, next week, as was mentioned, we'll be in Hungary for what could be the race that Matthew gets crowned champion for FP. Of course, I think it's been a long time coming in a way, because it doesn't really look like Matthew was going to lose it. But yeah, make sure to join us then next week, same time, 8 o'clock. And apart from that, it's good night. So, yeah.